I read your article a couple of weeks ago, and basically you said you're picking Team Korea to win it all. And my first question to you is, did KBO pay you to say that, or do you really mean it?
KBO didn't pay me. If they want to, just as a tip, that's great. But no.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for your time. I hear you're in Japan right now, familiar with all your work. I read all your articles, but our viewers might not be familiar with your work. So can you kind of introduce yourself, who you work for, and why you're in Japan right now?
Yeah, so I work for Major League Baseball. I have been lucky enough to kind of head up our World Baseball Classic coverage. So I've been kind of on this beat for a while. I got to Tokyo late last night, so my brain's a little, fuzzy. But no, everything's great. I'm here, to cover the tournament, to cover China, Australia, Czech Republic, Japan, and Korea. So close. It's been 6 years, and we are almost to first pitch.
Right, it's getting closer. And in Korea right now, things are building up. Tommy Edmund just got here a couple of days ago. Ha-Sung Kim's here now. Team Korea had its first real official workout. Fans are beginning to feel the excitement, but you're only there for a day in Japan. But how are things in Japan? Do you feel the excitement that's building up in Japan, in Tokyo? And I've seen some articles and pictures. Otani just got there. I hear things are getting crazy in Japan as well.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the excitement. It's still kind of a simmer because it hasn't really started, but there are advertisements everywhere. I caught one on the subway today, which was really cool. I think people are really getting excited for this tournament, and I can't wait to see what it's like once it all really kicks off in just a couple days.
What about back in the States? I've seen the rosters of Team USA, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, all-star team pretty much. Are fans back in the States, are they getting into it as well?
Yeah, they are. And I would say more than they ever have. In the past, and it doesn't help, obviously, that it's been 6 years since the last tournament. But, in the past, this was, if you were a U.S. Major League Baseball fan, maybe you watch this tournament because it's better than watching a spring training game. But this year, it is totally different. People are talking about this tournament. People are excited. People can't wait for it to happen. And it all comes down to the players taking part. I mean, the way you said it, it is an all-star team, and USA isn't the only one. The Dominican roster is an all-star team. The Venezuelan roster, like Korea, Japan, Puerto Rico, there are 8 teams. Mexico's roster, I think, is not getting talked about enough for how strong it is. Every team has an amazing roster, and I think that obviously helps. When the very best players are playing and they want to play. Mike Trout made it very clear how much he wanted to play. Clayton Kershaw, who unfortunately had to pull out. It was an insurance reason, and he even looked into possibly getting his own insurance because he wanted to play so badly. Fans see these stories, and when the players are that desperate to play, well, that means something to the fans too. Paul Goldschmidt said, he played on 2017, he said, "This was the best thing I've ever done in my career, and I really wanted to do it again." International baseball is growing, and this could be, the flashpoint for it.
Well, some of the players that you just mentioned, Paul Goldschmidt, Clayton Kershaw, Mike Trout, I mean, these guys make, millions of dollars. What are they so into it? I mean, you obviously are risking an injury. Hopefully it doesn't happen this tournament, but it is a possibility. In March, why are these players so getting amped up about these tournament games?
The reason they want to do it, there is something special about doing something for your country, about this is what these guys say, you are representing not a team, not yourself, whether you're playing for the USA, whether you're playing for Korea, Mexico. At the end of the day, they love playing baseball, and this is for your country. And if you look in the stands and the fans, it is a different atmosphere. The World Series atmosphere is amazing, but there is, you look in the stands at these games, and you have people carrying flags and dressed up in the country's colors. There's something magical about international tournaments, right? This brings us all together in a very different way. Trout might now get to face Otani. Jung-Hoo Lee might come to the majors next year, and he might face, his future teammate, and they'll get to, maybe he'll hit a home run, maybe he'll strike out, but they'll have that experience now. There's something really special and beautiful about this, and I'm really glad that the Major League players, the KBO players, the MPB players all around the world all want to take part in this thing.
Well, Michael, obviously, you know that I'm Korean. I'm in Korea right now. I'll be rooting for Team Korea. Going into this tournament, I'll be honest with you. I'll be happy if they make it to Miami. If they win it all, that would be great. But that's really not my expectation. I'll take semifinal. But I read your article a couple of weeks ago, and basically you said you're picking Team Korea to win it all. And my first question to you is, did KBO pay you to say that, or do you really mean it?
KBO didn't pay me. If they want to, just as a tip, that's great. But no, I think there's 8 teams that have a realistic chance at this. There are 4 teams that I think are in that inner circle where I really can't split the difference between them, right? The USA is a powerhouse. The Dominican Republic that lineup is just, Japan looks amazing, but so does Korea. And I think what Korea has that maybe some of the others don't is a balance to their roster. There is, in a tournament like this, one game, once you get out of pool play, you lose a game, you go home. And so listen, anything could happen, but Korea's roster is so deep in so many ways. There is a veteran lineup, other than Jung-Woo Lee, who is the superstar everyone in America is like, we can't wait to watch him go up against the world's best and dream about what's going to happen, when he gets posted at the end of the year. But there is power at the corners in Jung Choi and Byung-ho Park. There is a guy whose career numbers look like Mike Piazza in Yuji Yang. There's so much power, and then there's speed, and then you just look at the bullpen. I think they have the best bullpen in the tournament, and this is a tournament predicated on bullpen.
Well,
and that's kind of the way I see it.
I'm scratching my head right now because you're beginning to convince me a little bit. But yeah, you mentioned, Park Byung-ho, Jung Choi, Jung-Woo Lee, but like Team USA's got what? Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Mike Trout, Dominican Republic, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
So that's the thing is, do I think Korea has the best lineup? No. Do I think they have the best rotation? No. Do I think they have one of the best in each of those? Yeah. And then that bullpen where, Kwang Young Kim is going to pitch in relief now. That was just said the other day by the team's manager. I was expecting him to start. Now, one of their best pitchers is now another arm in the bullpen. You've got Cho Won-jung, the Rookie of the Year. You got Woo Suk-go, 1.48 ERA. I was lucky enough. I got to see a Twins game. He closed it out. I saw his closer entrance. He dominated. It was a 1-0 game. He couldn't let anything up. I really like their bullpen, and when there are severe pitch limits, starters aren't going to go more than 3, 4, maybe 5 innings. And Korea has the ability to mix and match depending on matchups, who they want to face. But I also think that because Korea did not do well in 2013, 2017, I think they have a chip on their shoulder, and I think they have something to prove. USA wants to win it, back-to-back. DR wants to win their second. Japan hasn't won it since 2009. Everybody wants to win it. But I do think that Korea's taking this a little seriously because of the underwhelming performance in the last 2 tournaments.
Okay. Well, I hope you're right, man. Don't get me wrong, but I think you're the only person that I've recently spoken to that predicted that Korea would win it all. So
where you can play a hot hand and everybody's willing to empty the tank, anything can happen. And will I be surprised if Japan or DR or USA or even Mexico, Venezuela, Puerto Rico wins? No, I won't be surprised. But I really like this Korea team, and I think they can surprise some people.
Well, according to your scenario, Korea is going to win it all, but who are they going to play in the finals then?
So
USA or Japan again, or the Dominican Republic?
The best team is Japan. And the weird thing, I think Korea's going to win it all. I do think they're going to finish second in the pool. I think Japan's going to win Pool B. But then they'll have to face off again. I think Japan's the second best team, and obviously if we get a Japan-Korea rematch in the final, it will be quite what a rivalry game to get in that situation. DR has the best pitching they've ever had, but I don't love their bullpen. So I could see them gain upset in the semifinal. Pitching on USA, a little weaker, especially as some of the guys had to drop after Cortez got hurt. Korea is one of the greatest baseball nations in the world, and so it's their time to win it all.
Like I said, I hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong. All right, Michael, thank you so much for your time. I don't want to hold you up too long. You've got some busy days coming ahead, but you got to promise me that you're going to come back on maybe after Korea-Japan game. It's going to be a super exciting game for all of us. Stay safe and keep in touch, and hope to talk to you soon again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me anytime. And looking forward to seeing how this all goes.
Let's go, Korea!